Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek Aloud, 8 p.m.-ish, Tuesday night. So you know this is the Gaming Enforcement Agency, of course. I'm here, Troy, on duty, in fact, but with Steve on Discord. Steve, how are you?
Mate, I'm very well. Unky Dunky on duty, ready for duty, and let's talk about video games, Troy.
All right, man. First up this week, we have, what are we doing this week? No. First up this week, gosh, I have to tell you guys how the run of show goes. Hello and welcome to you all. We have 4 segments. Segment 1, games, interrogation, deliberation. That's everything Steve and I have been playing recently. We tell you how we've been feeling about it, what we've seen, anything of note. Maybe you want to check it out, or maybe you've already checked it out. If you have, feel free to sing off in the comments. Second segment, as always, the news segment. That's right. We run around, gather the best stories from around the web, present them to you right here on the Gaming Enforcement Agency. After that, we have the standoff. Steve, can you tell me who's standing off this evening?
Mate, this evening we have got the best game where you play as a police officer that we've actually played as well, because I know there's plenty of games out there probably with police officers we haven't played. And we also want to know which one of these games has the best police officer or cop name out of all those as well. So sound off in the chat. Let us know what your favourite games are where you play as a cop, and let us know which one of these you think has the fanciest name among them.
I love it, Steve. Looking forward to seeing what that list is. And of course, whose name we pick, who knows? But then, after the standoff is concluded, we come over to you guys. It's the audience interrogation for the 4th segment of the evening. Round up those comments that you've been making throughout the show and get right on back to, of course, hear your picks for the standoff, which names you like this evening it'll be. But let's start it off with game interrogation. Tonight, first up, Sniper Elite 5, Steve. Just came out, was it officially Thursday last week, but Friday for us, available through Xbox Game Pass. Let's Install, went up on the channel yesterday, I think. Steve, have you played it? What were your thoughts?
I have played Sniper Elite 5. It's probably the only game I've had a chance to play this week. I've been very busy with work, but definitely a nice surprise getting this game on the old Game Pass. It's, again, one of these services that we just keep saying very nice things about, and this is one of the reasons why we're getting one of these games that costs $90 anywhere else for free on our Xbox Game Pass. But as far as the game itself, initial impressions for me have been very positive. It's sort of, when I started playing it, sort of was giving me like an open world Splinter Cell kind of vibe with the Sniper Elite sort of coating. It's something about what he's wearing now. Looks a bit more modern than he has in the previous games.
He does, yes.
Which I think is going to sort of appeal to a sort of more broader range of audience in relation to how the game actually looks. They've brought back weapon customization from this, which I think was absent from number 4, which is a nice thing. I mean, it may make it a little less like time period authentic, being the fact you can add silences and stuff to these sniper rifles, which I'm not sure if you would have had them the way they are presented in this game back in the day, but I'm all for just some gameplay stuff that makes the game fun to play. So that's not an issue. That's not an issue for me. I'm happy to just sit in here and have fun with the sandbox they've created. And when I say sandbox they've created, these levels are absolutely massive. I'm not sure how far you're into it. I've finished the main first level as well as the tutorial, currently in the second level, but these levels are huge, Troy.
They are massive, Steve. I skipped the tutorial because we know I'm an elite gamer and I don't need such things. Went straight into mission 1. I think it was around the 47 minutes I pounded into it. And no, mate, I couldn't even finish mission 1. It's possible I did need that tutorial after all. I'm not sure. Steve, quick question, though, from the top, mate. From memory, it was an 80 gig download. So how long did it take you to get in?
It's a good question. I did set this up to pre-download the night before, so it downloaded overnight. So I'm going to assume it took most of that night to download.
Still, 8 hours, not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's probably less than that. I downloaded or re-downloaded Deathloop recently tonight because I was going to try and give.
You wanted to be nagged at by some menus?
Yeah, but I figured now that it's a quiet period, it might not quite annoy me as much because I might feel like I can give it more time. So that was 30 gig, and that only took a couple of hours. So yeah, it might have been around the 4 or 5 hour mark to download this one. But yeah, I mean, this game, I've been a fan of the Sniper Elite series since I think it was V2, which is, I think, the second game, which came out maybe back on the Xbox 360 days.
And have these all been exclusively on Xbox for you?
I think I have played. No, sorry, I played number 4 on PlayStation, I believe, because I did reload that game up not that long ago on the PS5 because it got like a 60 frame per second update to it.
But didn't they give I think I've played that one as well, but I want to say, wasn't that a PSN monthly game at some point, I think, on the PlayStation?
Quite possibly could have been. I reckon I paid for it when it came out, though.
Oh, okay. I was going to suspect maybe the reason that one alone was on the PlayStation was because you've been...
No, I'm not sure. I go between consoles sometimes with titles. I'm not sure what it is with me, but yeah, for whatever reason, that was on the PlayStation. But no, like so far, like from what I can tell, it's a better version of Sniper Elite, and that's kind of what they tend to usually release, is a slightly better version of the previous release, which I don't know if you can say that's enough when it comes to next-gen consoles. I can see this going a lot further if they wanted. It does feel like yes, it is more polished and it's a better version of the other game, but it does feel a little bit like it is just a small iteration as opposed to a massive jump in gameplay.
Now, sorry, this is Rebellion of the developers?
Yeah, Rebellion. Yeah.
And so their other game, I assume it's the same team, is Strange Brigade. Do you know do they do anything else other than those two franchises?
They do the Zombie Army games as well.
Of course they do. And so you're a fan of all three of the genres.
Yes.
Do you know, do these guys have three internal studios rocking and they're all just minding their own franchise? Or is it one group of dudes just bouncing between three IPs?
I reckon the games come out not regularly. So I reckon it's the same developer that's doing each game, because you're not seeing them come out as regular. I think it's one game every 2-3 years, I think, out of that developer. So, and then they provide updates to those games quite regularly. So I've got a feeling it's just the one in-house studio that's doing all these games. I'd love to see a new Strange Brigade, to be honest, because
yes,
we've talked about and played that game quite a bit. But this game, obviously, it's looking as good as it does. I'd love to see a Strange Brigade look like that. This game is sort of like can be seen as a one-trick pony. It does do sniping probably the best out of any other game, and you've got your X-ray vision stuff, which is a cool dynamic and stuff to have when you're shooting Nazis in their nutsacks. Some people have called this game Nazi Nutsack Hunter 2022.
Now, I haven't tried it, but I assume the graphic 3D internal model does in fact show the testicles?
It does, yes, absolutely.
I'm going to have to give this a try now. But, Steve, you'll be happy to know, mate, as you were saying that, it was a slow-mo sniper shot going off, so you nailed that timing.
Perfect. And as for the slow-mo kills, they've increased it now. You've got slow-mo kills also for your sidearm kills as well, so you can hit a headshot with a silenced pistol, you go slow-mo, which I don't believe was a thing in the past, and they've also added slow-mo to melee kills and stuff as well. So if you rock up and slash someone's throat, you're going to see that in all its glory. I'm trying to think what else we've got. You've got active.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. Well. No, you were into an excellent analysis before, and I just deviated you from it. I'm sorry. You were talking about your history with the franchise of Sniper Elite and the differences they've done for this one. And sorry, I got distracted on the release scheduling, but you were talking about how this one compares to the other in the series.
Yeah, it's very similar when it comes to the series. I think the levels are bigger. I think you've got slightly better enemy AI. They seem very aggressive in this one as well, although I'm currently sitting on a screen currently on my Xbox where it's done an autosave where for whatever reason I've alerted all the enemies and I've quit out and I've loaded back into it, and there's literally 50 enemies just surrounding me while I'm just sitting in a bush. You can't do anything about it. So I don't know how they can't see me, but it's going to make for a hilarious screenshot or movie I can send you soon when I get the grenade just down and kill them all.
That's hilarious. I thought you were saying you were surrounded in this bush, like it was just reloading and then 50 guys were killing you, then like you were stuck in a little loop. But it sounds like you're in a way cooler situation.
Yeah, I mean, all of them is like a general there. So you've got these generals that are sort of coordinating all their a group of enemies as well. So if you take them out, they're obviously less dangerous towards you. So you're always looking for the commander with his hat and taking him out first, which is always a nice little game of cat and mouse to play as well. It's got campaign co-op as well, which I think would be nice and fun to play. And a lot of people have said it's really fun to play in co-op where you can sort of synchronize your sniping shots with your co-op partner. So that might be something we can do.
That would be cool, but I saw they've got invasions. Is that a first? I feel like they ripped it from, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, what have you.
Yeah, and it's not the only thing they've ripped, because you've also got bonfires or fire sites you can find throughout the levels, which once you've found them, you can replay those levels and you will restart from that starting point. Kind of like how Hitman unlocks different starting points in
Yeah, okay.
levels. So they've ripped that mechanic off as well. But yeah, you've got invasions now where if you set that up and want to be online, players can invade your game and you get into a little bit of a one-on-one cat and mouse and stuff, and kind of like your Deathloop thing where people could invade your game and try and kill you.
Yeah, do you know is it possible that you and I could have an online session but we could have invaders disabled?
I think you can have them enabled or disabled. I don't think it matters. I think you can play it in offline or with the online mode at the start from memory.
Well, I just think that all the other games that have done this, if you're online, if you enable co-op, you are forced to have invasions. It would be awesome. This would be the first game that I'd come across if it let you do online multiplayer. It has the notion of invasions, but you can turn them off. That'd be amazing.
That would be. But the cool thing about invasions is what I like is you think in a sniper game, you would just get people camping and sitting still and just trying to wait to kill you. But the game will actually kill you if you're camping too long, which I kind of like. It promotes getting out there and sort of trying to line up your shots. And so that really does make for some really fun cat and mouse gameplay. And it's quite tense, especially when you've still got all the other enemies throughout the world as well that you're trying to sort of dodge and weave around. So, cool little mechanic. And again, as I said, it's another iteration of Sniper Elite. If you've liked the games previously, you can like this one. I was speaking to Bully during the week. He seemed to have a few issues with bugs and stuff. I think he was on the Xbox as well.
Do you have an example? An example of one of his bugs?
I think he said there was like stuff with textures glitching in and out and enemy AI doing weird things as well.
Now that you say that, I remember he did say textures glitching.
Yeah. So, and I don't remember having any real enemy AI issues. Although there's a few odd times when enemies sort of obviously can't see you and you're in plain sight, but it's not egregious or anything like that. But yeah, I've had no real issues with it. It's just nice to be playing a Sniper Elite game. It's got really nice freedom of movement and objectives. There's a lot of side objectives within these levels as well, and hidden objectives that you can find.
Replayability.
Replayability is good. Apparently, they do become quite similar in what you're actually doing from level to level as well. So,
but you could make the same. You could make the same argument out the old Tony Hawk's games, mate, but they were still brilliant.
That is true. That is true. If the core mechanics and the core gameplay is good, you're probably going to enjoy that for a long period. And the more things you unlock for all your weapons and the stuff you can do, like you can throw bottles and knock enemies out as well, or plant mines under cars. And there was one level where I saw a car driving around. I planted a mine, and I pretty much forgot that I planted that mine, and I was in complete other side of the map, and out of nowhere I just see this slow motion video of the car exploding with the mines and killing everyone on board, and I just completely forgot I'd even said it, which was quite cool.
Perfect. I love it.
So no, it's really fun. I'll probably see myself going through each level at least once, like I do with my Hitman games. I'm not sure if it's one of those games that I will go back and keep replaying, which is like I think they want you to do. No, I'm having fun with it. Where do you see yourself with it? Are you going to keep going with it, or are you going to put it down?
Yeah, well, no. Today was my first chance to go hands-on with it, really, and I recorded. Yeah, I tried to do the first mission, but I think it was about 47 minutes into it. Could not finish it. Got to pretty much hear what you're saying on the stream, and I don't know if there's much beyond it. I assume that's the last objective. And now it looks to me like. What do you call it? Like drive-in cinema on the hill? I don't know what the thing actually is, but that's what it looks like. So I'm up to it. I have to find 2 satchels and destroy it. I assume once I've done that, it's mission complete. But I don't know.
The main objective. That is the main objective for this level. I don't know if you've been down the bottom of the map and taken out the targets there and taken out the bunkers at all.
No, I have no idea what you're referring to. But what I will say, Steve, is I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. The only thing that has stopped me playing more of it is a lack of time. I'm keen to get back into this game. Sorry, I've just noticed the camera's gone. Keen to get back into this game as soon as I can. As you said, mate, it's very enjoyable sandbox, and it does speak to my nature of replaying things and just, what if I just change this one move I did? What's the repercussions? So it certainly speaks to me on that level. I thought I had the camera fixed, but no.
So I was just thought of one other thing that I think is new to this one that hasn't been others is being able to aim down iron sights for all guns as well. So you can, with a tap of a button while you're aiming, I think it's A on Xbox, you can switch to down sights. So you can have, if you want your SMG or whatever just to be your normal third-person camera, but you want your pistol to be first-person, and when you switch weapons, the game will remember what you've got that setting at, so you don't have to keep doing it. So it's quite cool to be able to switch just aim down sides, hit that headshot. If you've got enemies swarming, you quickly switch to your SMG, and then all of a sudden you can see where you're going and spray and pray. And then obviously with your sniper rifle, you're aiming down sights anyway. But no, it's just a cool little mechanic they've added. I think, as I said, small iterations to this game, making the game better. I think we're set for a big leap forward, hopefully next time with the Sniper Elite series. Whether they bring it forward to the future, which I'm not sure how you do that because they've had the same character for every game, so I don't know how you bring him forward. Maybe it's just his ancestors or something like that.
What was it? Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, it's just Rogue Legacy like, and this guy could be the new Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher type character that we're hopefully going to get another Splinter Cell. But if we don't, this could maybe take the cake because it's a very good stealth game.
It is a great stealth game, man. It's I am keen to get back into it and explore it. Yes, it's right up my alley. I like the shooting. But Steve, I want to know, have you had a chance to look at the achievements? It's my final question for this game. I haven't unlocked any, and I haven't looked at the list. Do you know anything?
I don't know much. I've unlocked a few for like doing certain objectives throughout missions and stuff. I've obviously unlocked a few for the story-based stuff and finishing missions. I haven't had a good chance to sort of look through it and stuff, but I feel like for me one of those ones that if you do like, checking your boxes off like Hitman style, I think you could find yourself, achievement hunting in this one, but then begs the question, do you get it on PlayStation to hunt for that platinum?
Oh, wow. I'd probably hold off on spending any money. I'm not exactly flush with cash. I don't see me paying for a game I already have access to. But who knows? Maybe it'll really get its hooks in me. Maybe I'll be singing a different song entirely. Steve, is this the first game they've released of any of their three franchises we discussed native next gen?
I believe so. Yeah, I know Zombie Army did get updates for next gen, but I'm not sure if it's native to next gen. So it probably is, and it does definitely look the part. Like, I don't know what it says, only 60 frames, but when I jumped into this game, I had to lower all my aiming settings because I felt like it was running much higher. Like, it felt like it was 120, which is how quick my aiming was, and I just could not do it with the sensitivity that I had. So I had to ram it all the way down for just regular aiming because I was just moving that cursor around way too quickly across the screen. But it was running at like 4K and very high frame rates. So this is the first time I've had a game run, I reckon, this well.
Nice. The only request I'd make of the developers' time is they just need to focus on optimizing that level load. They just need to shave a few seconds off. For someone like me who can die really quickly a couple of times in a row, it's really annoying. If you're taking your time and playing it the way they want you to, you wouldn't even notice it, I'm sure. But for someone who's...
I don't reckon I died. Maybe I died once throughout that first mission.
So yeah, at that end point, what I was trying to do, I sort of got as close as I could to the big the main objective, the cinema screen or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I got to that checkpoint, and then I was just like running all the way around to the left, dying, running all the way around to the right, dying, trying, one up at 11, trying one up at, just to see how it reacted. But every time it was boom, loading screen, boom, loading screen.
And I suppose the only good thing is in terms of progress, it is like Hitman where you can save anywhere at any time, which I do enjoy because you can clear out a bit of a camp, and if you haven't saved or if you're relying on auto save and then you die, you have to do that all again, would really suck. But you can get yourself in and out of these things with managing to save after killing maybe 3 or 4 enemies, and then you need a bit of a breather, so you save, and then if you can try option A, B, or C to get out of it, and it's not going to matter too much if one doesn't work because you can just reload that save. So
that is
really enjoy a good save system in a game these days.
That's a pro tip, Steve, because I had no idea. I was just running off the auto saves, but it's
literally use that because it's a lifesaver when it comes to trial and error when it comes to this game.
Perfect. Well, anyway, that is the only negative knock I'd have on it, and it's so minor as loading times. But other than that, fantastic game. I can't wait to go back hands-on with it. Oh, Steve, sorry, final thought, and it's about achievements, but maybe check out that list of achievements before you leave that bush if you're surrounded by guys. You might be able to mop up a few weird, achievements just that you're so close to them with options.
It is so funny you should say that because, I threw down a grenade just to see what would happen. I think I killed 5 enemies at once, and I did get
perfect.
Anyway, so I'm sure there's probably more that I could probably do.
Yeah,
so it's not a bad idea actually.
Well, it might even be, you might be able to pick off 50 headshots, or God knows what it is. But you might be able to go headshot, reload, verify obviously that the counter doesn't reload, but. You might be in a great farming spot there by the sound of it. But I think that does it for our thoughts. Steve, any final thoughts for Sniper Elite 5?
No, that does it for me. I'll be getting back into it this week at some stage.
Beautiful game. Yes, I'm keen to check it out. And yes, at some point, I would love to see it on the PlayStation 5 with the old DualSense to feel its glory.
Oh, yeah.
But that'll do it for Sniper Elite 5 this week. But I got my hands, Steve. Game 2, it's Hades. That's right, Hades. 2018, I believe, original release. The only reason I installed it on the channel and it's appearing here tonight is because I picked it up very cheap in the old JB Hi-Fi. And so I was able to do the install and a free PS5 upgrade. And then because I'd installed it, I figured, hey, I may as well do a few Hades runs while I'm here. And that is a very enjoyable game, which you well and truly know, don't you, Steve? But we covered it originally on Xbox Games Pass. I think it was the first time we covered it on here. But have you played it on PS4, Steve, or 5?
No, not PS5. Like, I've done most of my Hades game time on the Switch.
Yeah, of course.
It is the perfect handheld game. Just being able to click there, but then when you see it on the big screen, it's very weird to go from the handheld with the tiny little character to him looking, slightly bigger on the big TV. But
Yes.
game, like, it's revolutionised a lot of the roguelike stuff, and a lot of games have. I think it was Curse of the Dead
Gods. Yep.
Oh, Curse of the Dead, is it?
Curse of the Dead Gods.
It is right, Dead Gods. Yeah, so that's a very similar game that's on PlayStation Plus as we speak, as part of the monthly games.
And the install's available on the channel.
Yeah, there you go. So very similar, but this game is awesome. I still haven't managed to finish it. It's very hard. I've done plenty of runs where I've managed to get quite close to the end, but I don't know if I've got the reflexes in me these days to finish something this fast-paced. But yeah, what a game!
Well, I'll have to brush up my skills and then get that platinum for you, Steve.
Awesome. And speaking of brushing up on skills, our next game, Sifu.
I'm stuck on Sifu now. I slammed it for being easy and easy being rubbish, and it was. It takes all the glory out of it. However, it is lining me up, and I'm very much considering a platinum run at this point, Steve. I've all but one detective board complete, so I've completed all the levels except for the thing. And I believe you said it in the past, so I'm not going to call it a spoiler, but if you're maybe thinking you don't want any spoilers for Sifu, just tune out for 5 seconds while I say, Steve, I cannot not kill the bosses. There's that, I don't know if you've done it, mate, but to finish the detective board, you need to let the final boss live, but apparently you can only let him live once you've let the other bosses live. And I reckon I've done at least 10 boss fights on different levels trying to let them live, and I cannot work out how to let them live. Mate, what am I missing? Please tell me.
So you've just got to not use the finisher when it comes up.
Yeah. So just don't hit triangle, circle.
Don't hit anything. It'll let you keep fighting them, and you keep fighting them, then eventually it'll just play out and he won't kill them. So you just got to not hit that finisher move, which is really hard because when it pops up on the screen, it's really hard to your brain to just go, don't do it.
Yes, it is.
That finisher. So that's all you have to do is just not do it, Troy.
Do you know, do they have to be done in order? Like if I haven't unlocked boss from level biome 1, can I do boss in biome 2, 3, or 4? Or do you have to do them sequentially?
I think it has to be done in one run, so just spare them all throughout the run. Because, I don't think you'll get the option to get the last guy until you've done all in that one run.
I wasted so much time then, those 10 attempts, whereas I was filling out that detective board and I was, doing random level 2, 3, 4,
Troy,
whatever.
As I tell my wife consistently, just playing games it's not wasting time. You're not wasting time just playing the game.
It's true. I did have a lot of fun doing it. But so I'm back in Sifu. I'm still very much on easy and button mashing. I don't even have all the powers unlocked yet, but I am getting very close. And I think it's just the Talesman. And then Steve, that was the other question I had for you. Any pro tips for getting a high score, good multiplier options? What's the best way?
Well, you're kind of wanting to look at not getting hit much. It's all about that slide move as well to try and knock them down. And there's a trip move you got to. I think it's
is that the R2?
Trip them over.
Oh, I've been doing the big R2 run in and then just triangle at the last minute for the big leg sweep.
That one's not bad at all, but there's the trip move. I think it's up, down, triangle, or down, up. I think it works both ways.
Now, is that an unlock?
Take them down. That is one of the unlocks. Yep. So that was one of the first ones I went for full. To make sure it's always unlocked.
I think I've almost unlocked everything, but that's one of the ones I haven't done.
Yep, that is one of the best ones. And then another ones for the enemies is the R2, the special attack, the sweep as well, because you want to make sure you can get them on the ground as quickly as possible, always for that follow-up attack.
Yes.
And there's the ground counter as well, which is another one which is really handy. So if you get knocked down, to hit the block button and to do a parry attack on the ground is absolutely, you have to have it, especially for the final boss. It makes an absolute massive difference.
Yes. And with not the final boss, but I want to say is the tower also the pit, or are the pit and the tower two different things? I feel like the tower inverts and it's actually a pit you fall through, but in a tower.
You start out in the tower and then you end up going down, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So in that level, the end of that level, the first phase of the boss fight, I don't know if you recall, Steve, but she's got, I don't know what the correct name of it is, but it's like that rope weapon and it's got something on the end.
Yep.
What is the correct method for that? Is it like a timed counter?
From memory, it's like there's a duck. No, it's up, down, or down, up. There's one where you've got, she goes twice one way, then twice. I think it's down to duck it twice, then up to lift your foot, and then you rush her and then get a few hits in, then drop back. So that's kind of the pattern for her, is you want to sort of just dodge those ones, and then run in, quickly get attacked, run back, and rinse and repeat. You should be able to do that for both phases pretty much.
Yeah, right. Well, my brute force way of doing that, instead of learning that method, was I was just R2, which is like your sprint move, but like R2 and a quick L, so it's a tiny sprint, a couple of steps. I've just been sidestepping her as she comes in, just waiting and sprinting. It feels incredibly wrong. It doesn't feel like it's the way they want me to play, but it's how I've been getting around her attacks.
Mate, whatever you got to do.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, so I have put a lot of time into Sifu this week, and I'm really thinking maybe about getting that platinum, Steve. Is there any interest from your side in that platinum?
I am tempted. Like, I've got a couple of weeks off coming up, and I think I might just, if you can get the platinum by chucking on easy, because I don't think I've got the patience or whatever to go through on normal difficulty and relearn the game. I did chuck it on briefly today, and I was, again, the R2 was getting me for the sprint. I'd totally forgotten about that. I've been playing a lot of games at the moment, from like a slightly older games where the L1 was your sprint, and it was just so hard. I kept pushing that to sprint instead of that being block. And once I get my hands back on it and sort of start learning my combos again, I reckon I might be right. But if I can chuck it on easy and get a platinum out of this, I really enjoy the combat. I really enjoy the art style and the game and just being in the world. So if I can, get myself in that game a little bit longer just to get that platinum, I think I might do it.
Well, I reckon you should, Steve, because I was looking on, PSN Profiles, or who is it that does the really good guides? I'm blank. Wait, it's here. Bear with me un momento. It is powerpyx.com. Do you ever use those guys?
Oh, yep. Yeah, I have used those guys in the past, yeah.
So they have revised their trophy difficulty for Sifu with easy mode, and they've put it down to a 3 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
So I believe, yes, now that easy mode's there, Steve, I reckon we could both notch it up. And I propose to you, sir, that we commit to that challenge maybe next week. Let's think about it for a week, but maybe next week we'll have a firm commitment.
Like, usually when you go, I'm going to get a platinum, or if you just, beat a level that I can't beat, I'm getting competitive.
I love it. But that is it for Sifu. Very enjoyable. I reckon you're still going to see some more of it on the channel. But Steve, that brings us to overtime. And what have you been doing with your overtime this week, sir?
As I said, I haven't had much time to play games recently, but I've still been jumping back into the original Dead Space, which is getting me even more and more pumped for the remake coming next year.
Sorry, you're playing that game. Xbox Series X?
On the Series X, just backwards compatible. But I turned it on today, and for whatever reason, my sound system was up really loud. But some of the sound in that game was really good, and this is back before we had 3D audio. It was just a really good sounding and looking game for its time. So just really looking forward to that remake, and just the combat in that game has held up so well. Like, the plasma cutter is one of my favorite weapons or guns to use in any game. It's so satisfying just to like chop a limb off and then flick it from vertical to horizontal to take off your head. It's just so satisfying every time. Like, I pretty much play those games exclusively with that weapon. Like, I unlock maybe the line cutter and then maybe the pulse rifle, but I find myself, as long as I got ammo for my line cutter, I just use it the whole game.
Yeah. Well, it's such an iconic weapon, man. I'm right there with you. Dead Space is amazing. And anything else in your overtime?
It's just a TV show, so it's still in my horror sort of thing from Evil Dead and stuff last week. But Stranger Things Season 4, the Part 1, which is episodes 1 through 7, came out this week. And I've now, with the wife, binged every episode, and that show just keeps getting better and better. Each season is just as good as the last, and I can't speak more highly of Stranger Things Season 4.
Nice. That's a high recommendation. And once again, a show that I'm yet to check out one single episode of, but it's been recommended to me by a bunch of people. I really should prioritize it at some point.
You really should, mate. If you're into like your 80s, 90s, kids movies like your Goonies and stuff like that, it's right up that alley.
Well, it sounds like it should be for me then. I should make some time for it. Now, Steve, you'll be pleased to know I've finally repaid all the damages on the squad car. So I'm back in the good graces, earning overtime.
Nice.
This week's overtime for me, mate, I've been getting back into Puzzle Quest 3. I don't know if you remember I said maybe, what was it, 2 months ago on the channel, maybe it came out. It's a new-ish game on mobile. Anyway, they recently patched it, and I got to say, mate, they have totally nerfed all the earnings in it. So I'm really disappointed now. You open it up, and the quest that used to get you a decent amount, and you're, I can level up here, I can, evolve this spell or whatever. All the payouts for everything have just been crushed. Like, I'd say now we're like at 1/10 the payout that we used to be prior to this patch. So it's like ridiculously over heavy-handed. I think it's whoever's working on Gran Turismo 7, is that the new one?
Yeah.
Whoever's advising on the pricing for the Gran Turismo 7 online items, I think they're also advising for Puzzle Quest 3 on the side. That game has went from fun and enjoyable to, oh my God, now it's pay to win.
Oh, God. Well, it leaves room for another really cool mobile game to come out soon, which we'll talk about later.
I'm looking for a new mobile game. I hope we come across one. But that was it for my overtime. Just Puzzle Quest 3. I didn't want to push the commissioner too hard. And, first week back in the overtime, fair. I didn't want to, overstay my welcome. But that is it for that one. So that must be the news time, is it, Steve?
Mate, you have the right to remain newsworthy.
Oh, I've got to hit a button. Boom. Almost got it. All right, here we go. Finally, Troy remembers what he's doing. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Story 1 this evening from GameSpot. Star Wars Jedi Survivor revealed with new trailer. Steve, what do you know about the new Star Wars trailer?
Have you had a chance to look at it yet?
I have not. I've not seen the new trailer.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool trailer. There's obviously no gameplay or anything in it. We get to see our man Cal again in his poncho in his glory. Looks like he's got a new lightsaber as well. I'm not sure if you remember in the previous game, his lightsaber by the end of the game, and you could change up your colours and all that kind of stuff. This one's looking like a new one. He's also looks like he's sans his friends from the previous game as well. So, which could lend to the whole Survivor thing. There's a mysterious man with a beard in a thing at the end of the trailer, and like, is he the survivor or we the survivor? I don't know, but
I had just assumed. Please tell me I'm wrong. I had assumed it was is it not the protagonist? Didn't you just say? Isn't it the protagonist from 1?
I don't know if it is. I don't think we've seen or heard who that is yet.
I just totally assumed it was the protagonist from number 1 continuing his story, but maybe not.
Oh, so the main guy is the same guy as Cal. So there's a guy though in a you see him at the end in like a big sort of water tank, and he's sort of floating there with a beard, and he's a new character. So I'm wondering whether he's the survivor who we're looking for, or he's the central character that's part of the story. I don't know.
I thought we were the survivor. I don't
know. That's what
didn't you just say? He was sans his friends, so I thought, then he's the survivor.
Well, no, his friends aren't there, so I don't know whether he's we don't know what the survivor means right now, but I'm only, hypothesizing that it could be us, it could be this mysterious character there that we're looking for, but there's no sign of any of the characters from the previous game in this trailer yet, so
I've got a wild speculation for you, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
This will take part as part of the canon universe. And so I bet it'll be the main protagonist. And what was his robot companion's name?
BD1, is it?
BD1? That sounds about right. I imagine if they bring Cal and BD1 from number 1 into like official Star Wars canon, can be referenced in the movies. But this game is set in wherever the next movie is set in. Like, we're doing some pre-work for the next movie. How about that for a wild idea?
To see how they do it. I know the Inquisitors are back from the first game as well. They're like sort of your boss characters that you're going up against, and they've recently been seen in the new Obi-Wan show. That's the first 2 episodes have just dropped this week as well. So it's sort of on that. Apparently, this game takes place 5 years after the first one, so it'll be interesting to see that. it's a fair bit of a jump compared to most games that might continue just, a few months after the last game finishes. So 5 years we're going ahead. So obviously things have happened. I can't wait. And it looks like we're going to get a 2023 release out of this as well, which I think we'll probably will see because it has been a while since the last one, and Respawn are pretty good at pumping out the games. So, I can't wait for this next year.
Do we know if there's a Star Wars film due out next year? We could even guess a date for this game.
Oh, mate, there's that much Star Wars stuff coming. I don't know if
really?
films, but there's that many things coming out in Disney Plus at the moment. It's going to be Star Wars Overload next year and end of this year, I think.
I'm already sitting at that point, so I can't imagine if they turn on the tap any harder that I'll even notice. But I like the idea. Like, what do you think the sales of the first game would have been if instead of his standard ship and crew, it was the Millennium Falcon, Han and Chewie that you were crewmates with in the first one?
Oh, you can only imagine that's going to probably bump sales.
I reckon that would be a massive, massive, massive large opening to the greater Star Wars audience if they were to incorporate some known characters from the film universe. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess they've replaced the unknown original companions from the first game and slotted in some movie tie-in characters for next year.
I reckon you might get some, but I reckon they are pretty confident in telling their own Star Wars story. The other one did so well that I think they'll just sort of lean on their own storytelling. They might have some cameos here and there, but I don't see them putting in Star Wars character mainstays as part of the main storyline and characters that you're going to interact with. That's my thoughts anyway.
I'm betting they experimented with number one. It far outdid their expectations. And we've seen Star Wars being a lot more looser with the license. As you just said, mate, there's been so many more TV shows and stuff lately. They're being a bit more generous with the license. I think it's a distinct possibility now than when the first one came out. So much has changed in the business space between, EA, Microsoft, and Disney themselves. Like, there's so many different players now and different bags of money. I reckon this has got cash grab written all over it.
I suppose it is true because you did have that issue with the whole EA making bad Star Wars games and making Star Wars franchise look bad, and whether Disney was going to move away from EA, but then they got this game which was actually a really good Star Wars game. So maybe they go, they can make a good Star Wars game. Let's give them our licensed characters. So you never know.
Exactly. That's my hope. My hope based on nothing other than hope itself.
Mate, let's hope away, eh?
Indeed. Hope is free, Steve. Did you know that? All right.
Yes.
Now, story 2 on the news segment. My gosh, I'm running a weird clip tonight, everyone. I apologise. Oz Gamers, Summer Games Fest, Xbox, PlayStation, and more. The Australian Times, Steve. The Australian Times. Friday, June 3rd. That's not far away at all, Steve. That's only a couple of days.
It is a couple of days. That's the PlayStation State of Play we're going to get. And I'm excited because the last few State of Plays we've got, they've actually come out and said that don't get your expectations up. We're not showing God of War. We're not showing, whatever title it was that we wanted to see, PSVR 2 and all that kind of stuff. But this time around, we're not getting any of that. We're not going to show you this. Don't temper your expectations. So I feel like we are going to get Ragnarok. We're going to get a date. It's going to be this year, Troy. We're going to get PSVR 2. I reckon PSVR 2 again. I'm still sticking to my gun saying that's this year as well.
I like the optimism.
I'm excited for a good State of Play because I feel like the last few sort of been a little bit of a letdown. It hasn't been a whole lot there for us, but I think, Sony's going to really want to come out. And the fact that Xbox has now had 2 of their games pushed, to next year, I'm hoping State of Play brings some really good stuff for us for PlayStation and a few surprises, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. I'm right there with you, man. That would be awesome. And it's only a few days away, 8 a.m. this Friday, as we said.
Can't wait.
I'm very excited, mate. Yeah, I hope to be wrong. I hope God of War Ragnarok does come out this year. I'd love to be wrong on that one. Hope we see it. As with the PSVR 2, mate, I don't expect to see it this year, but I'd love for you to be right once again. Can't wait to get my hands on that good stuff. All right, so that is the PlayStation one. Then we have the Summer Games Fest at 4 a.m. what day?
June 10, we've got that one.
Friday, June 10 at 4 a.m. Well, I'll be watching this on replay from Jeff Keighley. What about you, mate? Are you might almost be up at 4 a.m. to watch it live, will you, Steve?
Oh, no, we're on the Friday, June 10. That's next Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, it must
next
be.
Friday?
Yeah,
next
Friday.
I will be on days off from work, so there's no excuse that I couldn't be out watching it, but I'll tell you right now, Troy, I won't be. If I can be in bed, I will be. I'll watch this on catch up as well, and try and stay away from probably spoilers and stuff. I do enjoy watching these things as if they're live, like the old E3 days as well. As much as you can't skip what you wanted, but I just enjoy that whole atmosphere around it and the reveals coming and watching them in in inverted commas, real time.
Yeah.
But I reckon Jeff's probably got some surprises for us. I'm hoping maybe the one I'm sort of hoping to see that we haven't heard much on is either The Last of Us remake and potentially Resident Evil 4 remake, and two of the big remakes I'm hoping that we haven't seen much of or heard much of. There's rumours, plenty about them existing, so I just want some confirmation on those. And obviously we're going to see more stuff from probably Gotham Knights, Harry Potter, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare and all that kind of stuff. But Jeff's shows have been getting better and better each year, and I think with the absence of E3 this year, I think he's really primed to sort of get to those developers and get those developers to showcase their games at his Summer Game Fest. So yeah, I can't wait to see what we're going to see.
Definitely. Now, we may have touched on this already some previous week, but I don't recall your answer, so I'll ask again. Do you think we're going to see Kojima as part of the Summer Games Fest this year?
I mean, there's rumours. We've heard. I think it was last week. Death Stranding 2 was in development, so whether there's something on that, maybe. I mean, it's been a couple of years now since we saw Death Stranding 1, and we got the remaster. Was it late last year?
Yeah,
early this year.
No, it was late last year. I feel like it was November-ish.
I think we may see some Kojima stuff. I think Jeff's got a pretty good relationship with Kojima, so I wouldn't.
They certainly have history, yeah.
Yeah, so unless Kojima is sort of linked maybe to the Silent Hill stuff, which we've seen sort of floating around, there's been rumours of Kojima doing the most recent stuff, but I mean he was linked to it previously with PT, so who knows? I'd be excited to see whether Kojima is there and what he's up to.
I think Summer Games Fest for me holds the most amount of intrigue. Like it has the most potential to just blow me away with something out of left field, I reckon.
Agreed.
Yeah, nice one. And then Saturday, June 11th, is what? Something from Netflix.
Geek Week 2022. Looks like Netflix. What do we got? In addition to the first look, Cyberpunk Edge Runners show. That's right. That's a thing. We've got
10 Netflix games are set to be unraveled. Whoa.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I've just started seeing Netflix games and stuff pop up. I was searching for Stranger Things Season 4 earlier this week to see what time it was coming out, and there was like Stranger Things games popping up on my app throughout the Netflix app. So I think you can already currently get games, but it'd be interesting to see what these 10 Netflix games are. I'm going to guess they're pretty much your mobile phone standard games. I don't think we're anything more than that, but
are they Are they even that advanced, or could they be more like the Bandersnatch stuff, or are these confirmed legit games?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's what we're going to have to wait for Geek Week, but I don't think I'll be watching it. I'll just check my news feed and see what they've announced. If anything intrigues me, I'll go have a look at it.
Yeah, nice one. And then Saturday, June 12, is Guerrilla Collective. Which
I don't know what
there's
is.
Nothing there. Cool indies. Cool indies. It's an indie showcase. And then we've got Future Games on the same day, 4 hours later. Then Monday.
Monday's the big one. I was going to say the Future Game Show's got 40 games from publishers like Team 17, Thunderfall, Amanita Design, Developer Deep Dives, interviews, and a lot more. But the big one, Troy, Monday, June 13, Xbox Bethesda.
This is the one that I am the most excited for. I see the reason, my highest excitement on Xbox is they've got the most potential for me to be playing games immediately. After the show, something's announced and available. Anybody else will, you'd be lucky to get it within 2 weeks. But Xbox, I think, prime position to just do some on-the-spot game drops, which is really exciting.
That's right. And I think they kind of will need to or want to do something like that, given the fact, obviously, all the press around Microsoft in the last sort of month or so has been quite negative with their games being pushed to next year. So if they can sort of give us something just to sort of be like, oh, thanks Xbox for 3 or 4 games through Game Pass, or a new game that we haven't heard of that's dropping in like a month or two. Like I think that could really turn Xbox's fortunes around for this year.
Yeah, it could be great. And that's just prompted me, man, on the PSVR 2 stuff. Oh, wait, actually, I think we're going to get there again shortly, aren't we? Sorry, I'm just fighting with the camera, if you can believe it.
I can believe it.
Have I mentioned recently that this studio isn't in good shape?
You might have mentioned it a few times. And cold, not its best friend. And at the moment, it's freezing cold in Melbourne.
Oh, it's lovely down here in Melbourne. Sorry, back with us now. So that's the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase. That's exciting. Do we have anything else, sorry, that you want to say about the Bethesda one? Anything you're expecting, Steve? Anything you're hoping for out of that one?
I think we will see some stuff on Starfield, and I think that will probably be where they spend a lot of their time, I'm assuming. Given the fact that it's now been pushed, I'm hoping they're just going to give us a slightly bigger deep dive just to sort of whet our appetites and get us a bit more excited for that one. But I think we'll see some Halo stuff, which potentially wouldn't have been shown had they not had these other games sort of been pushed. But they might sort of give us some more Halo content and updates in relation to what's going on there. And
when do we get the multiplayer campaign?
Yeah, the co-op campaign. I like maybe that's something that can be like, oh, as of today,
yeah,
you've got your online campaign. That'd be nice if they can pull that off.
That would be amazing, Steve. I'll give you full credit if they pull that one off. I'll give you full credit for it. So that's a great call.
Yes, thank you. So I can see that being something they could do if they don't have a full game ready for us to go. Maybe give us an option in a game we've already got that everyone's been craving for. So that could be something I could look forward to. But after that, we'll get the PC gaming show. We both don't play a lot of games on PC, but I'm sure something good will come out of that. And then I'm sure we're going to get something from Nintendo, Ubisoft, and EA as well. But nothing's been announced as yet. But I think we'll probably see something before the end of June, maybe early July.
Indeed we will, Steve. I've just had a thought. So we're expecting that hopefully PlayStation open up on the 3rd of June, as we said, with the PSVR 2. How about this for a, lightning and thunder type moment? What if Xbox come in on Monday, June 13th and announce support for the all the Windows headsets? What if you could suddenly, as of Monday, June 13th, firmware update to your Xbox, plug in the old HDMI and USB 3 of the, PC compatible headsets and have VR working on the console.
Well, that'd be cool. I mean, I thought...
Totally just made that up, by the way.
I reckon if that's going to happen, we may have heard some kind of scuttlebutt about it already, but I think we're more inclined to get some kind of update on the new Xbox dongle that there's been rumours about, which you hope is going to be like the Netflix of gaming, where you can just plug a dongle into your TV and sync a controller up and play Xbox Game Pass through your TV and cloud gaming. So I reckon we might see something on that. Whether that drops imminently, I don't know, but that's probably more likely than the VR headset.
That is more likely, Steve, but it doesn't excite me at all because I've got the Xbox Series X sitting right here. I'm not interested in the streaming, but tell me I can plug a VR unit into it. Woo! 2 weeks after Sony unveils theirs, imagine if Microsoft come out and go, oh, yeah, we've got VR support too now. And because what's the Oculus Quest 2 that you've got? That's PC compatible, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Imagine if you could just wake up in that morning and plug it straight into your old Xbox, mate. Woo.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad, eh?
And what if we already did the math on it? Wasn't there, was it 7? In PC Game Pass, there's already 7, I believe, VR titles.
Yeah, okay. So
they're kind of already warming up to it. Anyway, total speculation by me. That's the run of that. My God, we're dragging our heels tonight. Sorry, Steve, I've got the ghost lows on. I apologise. Let's increase the pace as we hit press start for their news story. Number 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's release date's been revealed. Steve, when is it?
Mate, this is a real quick one. October 28th, we're getting Modern Warfare, which is usually, I think it's a couple of weeks earlier than we normally get it because it's normally a November release, if memory serves.
Yeah, I believe for the longest time it was always coming out November 11th.
Yeah, that sounds exactly right. So I don't know. There was rumours that this game was going to drop earlier than previous games just due to the fact of the poor numbers from Vanguard. But I wouldn't say October 28th is that much earlier to warrant that kind of speculation that it's coming out early to curb those numbers for Vanguard, because a couple of weeks not going to make much difference, to be honest.
No difference at all. And when they insert a delay to cover, longer development cycles, what's the chance it'll end up coming out November 11th anyway?
Well, yeah, true. But I'm excited for this because I really enjoyed the remake of Modern Warfare 1, and the Modern Warfare franchise is probably my favourite Call of Duty as well. So, and their new engine's looking really good, and I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, hopefully they stick clear slightly more of the political stuff with the war from the first one, where there was uproar about a certain mission. So they seem to always get themselves in hot water for one mission or another in their Call of Duty games. So hopefully this one sticks sort of closely more to the characters of this franchise, because they've got some of the best characters going out there for Modern Warfare.
That they do, mate. I was a big fan of it back in the day. I am looking forward to getting my hands back on it. It's going to be great. I can't believe it was 2009. My goodness. Wow,
Yeah.
Time flies. Speaking of flying, story for this evening. Modern Warfare 2 exclusive for PSVR 2. Oh, what? Steve, tell me all about it.
Yeah, I saw this today. I had no idea. I think this news article is actually quite recent as well. So it looks like there's a standalone mode for PlayStation VR 2 for Call of Duty. So, Troy, this gets me speculating still. I have said that PSVR 2 is going to be out by the end of the year. I reckon this leads some credence to that could be true.
Well, yeah, this almost suggests the release date for the PSVR 2 that they'll be announcing during the conference will be what? The 28th?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what a Call of Duty VR 2 experience looks like. I doubt it'll be the full game in VR 2. I believe it'll probably be some mode within that game that's going to be exclusive to PlayStation.
If they're going really tight, it's just going to be like at the gun range, and you'll be able to pick up a gun and shoot down, and that's it.
That's right. I mean, it does say what it say. Warfare 2 developed exclusive for PSVR 2, featuring a standalone mode immersing fans in shoes of a Tier 1 operator in the, as you said, probably just in the shooting range.
No, it's not even the shooting range. They've said right there, in the shoes of a Tier 1 operator. It's just in the change room, mate. There's lockers behind you. You put the boots on, roll credits.
No, they're going to do better than that, surely. Surely, Troy.
Well, they'll give you a platinum for it.
Oh, let's hope so. But I don't know whether this is enough to sway me to getting this on the PlayStation. The PS5 already, for me, is hard enough with hard drive space. And the way Modern Warfare goes, this thing's going at 100 gig plus.
That's very true.
And whether the VR stuff obviously probably increases the size of that even more so than the Xbox One. I'd have to wait and see some reviews to see what this experience is actually like, to see if it's even worth giving a crack. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. There's more so for the PSVR 2 story that I believe that this might lend some credence to the fact we're getting it this year.
I reckon you could lock it in with that one, mate. You've sold me on it. You could even sell me on it that it's is the reason they pulled the date early on this one forward to October 28th because they wanted to hit that release date.
Yeah, and Troy, it might be like I've almost done this deliberately, but if you want to pull up the next news story, Troy.
Sorry, there was one thing I just wanted to check here before I move on. No, it says PSVR exclusive. I thought maybe it was PSVR 2 is the console exclusive, but it's also coming to PC. But that's not written anywhere. All right, so PSU Story 5. PSVR 2 will reportedly start mass production in the second half of 2022. My goodness. Don't stop them now. They're off and racing.
Don't stop them second half. That's what? Is that they say in second half of the year being June, or they say second half of the fiscal year being July? I don't know. But either way, that gives them plenty of time to mass produce consoles to get it ready for the Modern Warfare 2 launch. And I reckon we're going to see this no later than on November, I reckon, Troy. What are your thoughts?
I reckon we're going to see this October 28th, Steve. I'm now firmly in the camp if it's coming out this year. October 28th is what I think is going to happen.
Hey, there we go. Well, I think we're only going to have to find. We're going to only wait a couple of days till that state of play, because I reckon we're getting a date then.
So what you're saying, Steve, is I've got to have tabs for Amazon, JB Hi-Fi, EB Games up and ready to go to play the pre-order game on whatever morning that'll be for us, Saturday morning or something.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure how much in hot demand they'll be. I reckon but people with PS5s are probably itching for something new, and this might be that. So, yeah, you might find yourself tough to get one if you're not in there pretty early, I reckon.
How about this? Have they announced, they shouldn't have, what's the chance the PlayStation VR 2 will be a Windows-compatible device, being that Sony's porting all their games now over to Steam?
Well, yeah, they have mentioned there's a lot of games coming over to Steam. So, yeah, you might be right on the dot there.
That'd be an interesting announcement from them if PSVR 2, it also works for the PC. But that would make them impossible to get hold of on launch day, Steve. I reckon the audience would be too big. Let's hope that no compatibility, so it is just us owners of the PS5 in the bidding wars.
Oh, God, let's hope so. And, Troy, speaking of Sony news, next news story, let's bring that up, because Sony it's a Sony show today, by the sounds of things. They've got a lot going on.
Good Sony show. All right, Kotaku has Sony bringing Horizon show to Netflix and Gran Turismo show to someone. Steve,
I don't know what kind of show Gran Turismo is going to be.
Is it just like the esports people doing hot laps? I got no idea.
Yeah, I got no idea. Is it just like Top Gear? Is it that kind of show, or is it like an actual full-on production show? I have no idea. But the Horizon show gets me excited. If it's going to be done by Netflix, they've hopefully got a decent enough budget to punch out something good. But obviously, we've just seen Halo come through Amazon, and some of the CGI and stuff in that not great.
No.
And I can only imagine that doing robot dinosaurs is not exactly going to be cheap and easy to pull off. But if they can do it, I'm not sure. I would watch it, definitely. I'm a massive Jurassic Park fan. I like robots. I don't know who you get to play Aloy. We'd have to do a poll maybe, or we can do a standoff next week. So who'd be the best character or best actress to play Aloy? There's probably a few out there.
Sorry, Steve, do we know, have they said anywhere that these are definitely live action and not animation?
No, there's been nothing really confirmed whether it's live action or not. I can only assume they will be. That's only going based off all the other Sony stuff we've seen, obviously with Uncharted, the God of War show that's carrying is apparently live action, the Last of Us show, HBO's live action. So I can see him continuing that trend. But you're right, though, Horizon probably would be easier if it was not live action.
Horizon would be a much easier cartoon to make. Or animation.
Yeah, even if they go like CG or something with it, just sort of over it. Well, even if there's some kind of cool like graphic to it, like that Love and Robot show does all different episodes with different graphic art styles. I could see it doing something like that potentially with it. Or like Matrix Reloaded, how that had different things per episode. That could be a cool way to do it. But we've got no further info at the moment. But
just with how much. Sorry, I was just going to say, just with how much Aloy climbs, just having an actress or, in the studio climbing on a green screen constantly, huge overheads, long time in post-production to make it look right. Whereas if it's an animation, just have her climb the mountain, not even, no safety concerns for the actress, nothing.
Yeah, agreed. So it remains to be seen what they're going to do. I mean, we're also getting a Twisted Metal TV show as well with Anthony Mackie and all that stuff. They've announced quite a few people for that. So Sony just keeps doubling down on their TV shows, and hopefully we get some good shows out of it.
Yeah. Now, is it the same amount of TV shows as they announced recently live service games in production?
Could be.
That'd be pretty funny.
It would be. So Netflix going strength to strength by the looks of things. If they can get some good video game based shows on their thing and some good games,
Well, maybe Netflix games is the next place Sony will start bringing their first parties to beyond Steam.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yes, I can. In fact, I just did. All right, story. I don't even know what, 7? Oh, now this is news to my eyes. This is very welcome indeed. From GameSpot. This is
all you, Troy. This is all you.
From GameSpot, headline, Diablo Immortal strives to be a true Diablo experience, even as it breaks new ground. Now, of course, they're referring to the excellent alpha Diablo Immortal, thank you, the name I'm looking for. We covered it on Game Enforcement Agency. I want to say it was back in December. I played this game hands-on, and at the time I was saying this is the equivalent of a PC game. There's no reason this game can't be on PC, I was saying at the time, and it was so good it deserves to be. Well, it seems as though Blizzard have agreed with me, and they're turning it all around, and I'm very excited. How long until it's on consoles? That's the real question. But all good things from Diablo Immortal. It's very exciting. And the Android release is not too far away, I believe.
No, and speaking of release, Troy, let's go to Game Informer's new releases coming out this week, because I think we might see something on a release date for Diablo.
Boom! I love it. First up, though, on Game Informer's list of games coming out this week is SnowRunner, and this is the native next-gen version, PS5 and Xbox Series X. I don't know whether it is coming to Game Pass, but I'm sure SnowRunner was in Game Pass before the Series X release. I don't know if they're going to include this one when it's out, though. Who knows?
I assume they will. I don't see why they wouldn't, to be honest. If the other game, the other version of it's already on Game Pass, why not? It just doesn't.
I could be wrong, but I think it was in and then has since left as well. I don't think it's in there currently. I'd have to check that. Not sure. Sorry, that's coming out. Oh my goodness, May 31st today. Next up is Slit. on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, or Silt. Dyslexia. I need another coffee. Xbox One, Switch, PC, out June 1st. Steve, what can you tell me? Besides the correct title.
So Slit or Silt is it looks like a side-scrolling puzzler, black and white, very Limbo-esque in its mood.
Okay.
So quite cool. I think it's been on PC like in early access or something for a little while, because I've seen some stuff on YouTube where there's people playing through the game, full gameplay playthroughs and stuff like that. So there's obviously it's in the wild already, but it does look quite cool. So if you did like your Limbo and solving, action platformer-based puzzling stuff, then you might enjoy this one.
I'm a big fan of those games. I hope it comes to Game Pass. Next up is Card Shark, June 2nd, coming to Switch and PC. Passing? All right. And then the one we've all been waiting for, Diablo Immortal, June 2nd for the official release. This game was amazing back in beta. Oh, and on Android, I have no idea about iOS because that lands crazy. But on Android, I can tell you, you can pre-register in Google Play for this now, and they'll pre-install it on your phone for release on June 2nd. So you can probably install it today or tomorrow in preparation. But definitely check out that game. Free to play and absolutely amazing. Should be on everyone's list. Next up, Geek Apocalypse, I'm going to say. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, June 2nd. I know nothing. Steve?
It kind of looks like that old Rampage game where you had a monster and you sort of just strolled through the city or sideways and just destroyed things.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. That's the best description I could probably give for it. Doesn't look great. I'd probably prefer to play the old Rampage given what I've seen of Geek Apocalypse, but that's what you're in for.
Excellent. I love it. And I just realized why my computer was acting so weird. I accidentally got it to read aloud. All right. Soldiers, I'm going to say. PlayStation 4, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC. Steve, do you know anything about this release for June 2nd?
I do. This one's actually getting pretty good feedback so far from what I've seen as well. It's a 2D action castle, what do they call a Metroidvania style game with a really cool sort of pixel art about it as well, and it's got a bit of Rogue Legacy sort of likeness to it as well. So it could be a fun little title, especially if we do see on this Game Pass. I've done some checks. I haven't seen whether it's on Game Pass, but it looks like it's one of those games that could potentially come there, and if it definitely does, then I will definitely give it a look and give you some thoughts on it next week if that's the case.
Excellent. I love it. And finally, this week, Unexplored 2, The Wafer's Legacy. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but I never explored 1.
Nor did I. I've never heard of this title before. I just had a quick look at it earlier today. It seems like an RPG style game, bit of roguelike stuff as well, top-down sort of isometric view, similar to, what was the game you spoke about last week, Tribes of Midgard?
Yes, indeed, yep.
Yeah, so it looked pretty similar to that, and it had some city stuff going on as well and a whole bunch of story stuff. So definitely not for me, but it might be for someone.
The interesting thing I'll note on this one is the platforms, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One PC, which all say Game Pass, but then it's got PlayStation 4, but no PlayStation 5. I've never seen a game release on the Xbox Series X and Xbox One, and then only the PlayStation 4, not the PlayStation 5.
Maybe the game should be called Unexplored on PlayStation 5.
Maybe. I like it. All right. Keep your eyes peeled on Game Pass. And if any of them appear, we'll be doing the Let's Install right here on Geek Aloud. But that can only mean one thing, Steve. It must be time for the standoff. I've got a question for you, Steve.
Ask it, Troy.
Who will fight?
Who will fight this week, Troy? We've, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the best game where you play as a police officer that we've actually played, and which one of these games has the best policeman name? So
I'll give you
through them.
Yeah. Option 1 on screen now is Lego City Undercover. Steve.
Oh, I've spoken about this game sort of recently. I've been getting back into it, and this game is amazing. This is the closest you're going to get to playing as a police officer in an open world G.E.A. style game. And Chase McCain himself, that's our police officer. He is the definitive cop. He goes out there, he works the beat, he's working investigations, he's solving mysteries. Like he's the definitive police officer, and he's going to feature very high on this list, I think. He goes undercover throughout the thing. He's falling bank robberies. He even takes a trip to the moon, Troy.
Well, I know we've discussed it before, mate, but I love it early. I think it's early on where he goes to the dojo or whatever. He essentially enters into I'm blanking on the Karate Kid. Briefly. Big fan of that one.
It's so good. It's so good. Just the game itself, it just harkens to all different sort of buddy cop movies and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
The music's awesome. The scenarios they put him in are really cool, and he's just a really cool character. And the game itself is actually really funny. So this is the first on the list. Troy, what is next?
Next on the list, everyone's favourite left-hand driving game, True Crimes. No, they don't drive. No, they do. Yeah, True Crime, Streets of LA. No, I'm getting confused. Isn't True... Wait, now I'm so confused. What was the one in Tokyo?
You're thinking of Sleeping Dogs, which is...
I am thinking of Sleeping Dogs, not True Crime. Sorry, Steve. What can you tell me about True Crime?
No, True Crime. So this is one where you are, again, playing as an undercover cop. And I remember you can run down and chase down enemies and handcuff them and stuff. The game itself, gameplay-wise, very sort of GTA-esque, but it's also got Max Payne sort of style gunplay and gameplay and melee combat as well. Really cool game back in the day. And I think... it was a bit sad we never really got... We did get True Crime, I think it was New York, came out after it, but it wasn't quite as good a game as the first one. And then there was a remake, I think, of True Crime, a new game of True Crime coming, which ended up being Sleeping Dogs, which we'll talk about soon. But no, this guy was a cool cat back in the day. Not as police officer-y looking as you would expect someone... as a cop to be, and you see some of his gameplay, he just literally just looks like any character from GTA because he's destroying a lot of stuff around the city. But his name in that game was Nick Kang.
Nick Kang, not bad.
Not bad. All right. But speaking of Sleeping Dogs, that's the next game on our list, Troy.
Boom, Sleeping Dogs, and my apologies for stepping on the reveal. Steve, Sleeping Dogs.
No, that's all right. Did you play Sleeping Dogs, Troy?
I did. I haven't finished it, but I've played through the first 10 to 12 hours of the campaign, I think, on both PlayStation and Xbox at various points, but never finished it. How about yourself, mate? Did you get through it?
Oh, I did. I love this game. It's a pretty underrated game, I think. This is still one of the better sort of G.E.A. clones, for a lack of a better term, that's come out. I think it had some of the best melee combat going around. It still does have some of the best melee combat up there with Sifu.
Mm-hmm.
But it had an interesting mechanic where you're sort of working sort of both sides as a police officer and as in the triads and stuff, and you had to sort of pick missions for both, and then by the end of it you're sort of making decisions based on where you want to be within the triads or as a police officer, and it had some really cool stuff that you do. So I really liked the way they blended the gameplay and stuff of G.E.A. and sort of that whole underground crime syndicate stuff, but also the police side, and they just balance it really well, and the character himself is a really good character, and they tell some really good story beats between him and his, old friends that are now in the triads, and then his new police friends, and where loyalties lie and stuff like that. Told a really good story. And our name for our protagonist is Wei Shen.
Wei Shen, thank you very much for your entry in tonight's standoff. Next up, we have LA Noire Rockstar's ticket into this evening's lottery. Steve, what can you tell us?
Oh, LA Noire. Going through and picking games for tonight, I actually got an inkling to go back and play this game again with a fresh set of eyes. I think the first time I played this game, I was not a police officer, so it'd be interesting going back to play this game now, where you play as Cole Phelps, our protagonist, where he starts off as a beat cop and then works his way up through the ranks of being a detective and working homicide and then arson towards the end of the game. It's got some cool combat stuff, which I'd be interested to see how it holds up, because Rockstar, obviously, I think this would have come out after Max Payne 3, looking at the gameplay and stuff, it looks very similar to what Max Payne 3 is, so I could see myself getting back in, because I think there's even had a remaster not that long ago as well for the console, so I think it might run at 60 frames and probably not 4K, but it's probably doing at least 1080p at 60 frames. So
it does look fantastic. I've checked it out on the Xbox Series X and it looks great, man. Yeah, it's really an enjoyable ride.
And it's just the unique gameplay stuff with the whole, it was the groundbreaking facial capture stuff they did for, telling if people are lying and all that kind of stuff was just a really cool mechanic. We haven't really seen anything like it since. So in terms of being a game where you're playing as a police officer and stuff, this game probably does it better than anything in the list because you actually are playing the role of that police officer. And it just does it so well in terms of just not only gameplay and the action stuff, but also the investigative stuff that you're doing as a police officer. So, this was a really good game, and I'm really looking forward to going back now. I think I've convinced myself, just as we've been speaking, to go back and play this game again.
I know, even just that you'd hit pause and he'd pull his little pocketbook out, and then the pause menu is in the pocketbook. Like, that was so well integrated into the game. They'd thought of everything for this game.
And just the time period as well.
Classic,
the 1940s or 1942, I believe. So, and it's using all sort of old school policing methods. There's none of this new fandangled, get a computer screen, zoom in and enhance all that kind of stuff. It's all just, interrogation and finding clues and stuff like that. It sort of harkens back to those old school, like even Charlie's Angels back in the day. That kind of sort of vibe to it, which I really enjoy. So I can't wait to go back and have a go at this.
It is, man. It's a great game. The challenge I could throw for you is I platinumed this on. Gosh, was it PS3 or PS4? I want to say I platinumed it on PS3, I feel like it came out on.
Wow.
I do have a platinum.
So you did enjoy it then?
Yeah. I absolutely loved this game. Loved it. Such a good game. All right. Game number 5 in the standoff this week, Battlefield Hardline, Steve. An undersung, I would argue, Battlefield game.
Yeah, I went back and played this not that long ago just because I was seeing if it was as decent as I remember, and it kind of was. Like, it's completely different to all the Battlefield games where you're playing as this police officer, and some of the opening missions, which I think are in that trailer there, are quite fun, and then obviously stuff turns bad. I think you end up in prison, then you got to escape somehow, but no, just really cool mechanic, which can get overused a bit, where you can sneak up on guys and flash your badge and arrest them and then handcuff them, and you get points throughout the level for how many people you can arrest. So I remember finding myself just trying to play the game through passively, just not kill anyone, just trying to arrest as many people as I could, because you get extra points for arresting high-value targets and stuff within levels and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I would say it was like you got 20 or 25 XP for killing somebody, but 100 if you just arrested them. It was significantly more rewarded for capturing.
Yeah, so I think this was a Dyson Visceral Games as well. Visceral Games was Dead Space, wasn't it?
Yeah, Visceral through Dead Space, yeah.
So I feel like they had sort of some hand in this as well. So, but just a great little different. If you want a Battlefield game that's not based in the war stuff, and you just want a cool first-person shooter with good mechanics, like, this is pretty good.
And if you've got an Xbox Game Pass, you can access it for free. I'll let you know. Well,
you can
at no additional cost. How about
that? That's right. And our protagonist of this game was this is a good police name. You'll like this one, Nick Mendoza.
Nick Mendoza. That is a decent one. Although, come on, Cole Phelps. You heard his name so many times. He kept getting yelled at by this boss. Phelps, get in here. All right.
He did.
I believe this is game 6 for the evening. Max Payne, Steve.
Max Payne. Now, this one, technically, yes, you are playing as a police officer / detective, but he doesn't really play the role of a detective for very long in this game, if not at all, because he gets framed very early on in the game.
The opening cutscene,
whole family. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, he is, and they do hark on the fact that he is a detective. He's being chased by his own in this game, and then obviously you play Max Payne 2, where he's far removed from being a police officer, and Max Payne 3, even further on removed as being a police officer, but and moving to more private security. But
not that I want to spoil it, Steve, but at the end of Max Payne 1, they do tie back into the fact that he's a cop right at the end of the narrative.
Well, yep, your memory is better than mine. So it's all right. Gets him on this list anyway. But in terms of being cool cops in a game, Max Payne, he's up there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I'd almost wanted to put him in twice, once for his appearance in the Remedy games, but then again for number 3 of the Rockstar iteration, because he was such a different Max Payne. Anyway, 6, 7 this evening, Disco Elysium, Steve. Wow, this was a different one, and you're really playing a different kind of cop in it too, aren't you?
You really are, mate. You can tell me probably more about this one because you played a lot more about it, but he's definitely not your quintessential police officer, this guy.
No, he's almost like if Jack Sparrow one day woke up and thought he was a police officer. It's, the Jack Sparrow police officer is the best I've got for you. The dude's crazy. He does stuff that makes no sense. The whole game is riddled with mysteries and half-revealed truths, and everything's sort of, I don't know, what's the best way to say it, Steve? The puzzles are packed 12 deep. You solve one puzzle just to reveal another one, to reveal another one, to reveal another one. It's a full-on game.
Multifaceted, and just when you think the story's going one way, it goes another way.
Yeah.
It's a very different game. You need to be in a probably different frame of mind, or a certain frame of mind to play this game, because it's much slower paced. If you want to think about what you're doing and think about your skill trees and all that kind of stuff, then this will be right up your alley. It's got a really cool art style, which is what initially drew me to it.
Yeah.
And the story and stuff is very, compelling and captivating and stuff. So if you've got the time and you don't like fast-paced games, then this game's probably going to be right for you. I think your wife really enjoyed it, didn't she?
My wife absolutely loved this game. She loves all the dark narratives, and this is certainly that.
That's right. And
sorry, mate, I was fighting with the camera.
No, that's right. I was going to say, and the name of our protagonist, this one, Troy, he's got a good name too. It's he's got a shorter name, but it's Harrier Dubois, but otherwise known as Harry.
Harry Holt is my favourite Harry police officer. Are you a fan of Joe Nesbro by any chance, Steve, the author? Anyway, before I get way too distracted, I'm going to go out on a limb and say number 8 this evening in the standoff, Lost Judgment.
Lost Judgment, the sequel to Judgment, where, again, there seems to be a bit of a theme. A lot of our police games seem to have you playing as undercover detectives. So it's obviously just so I can probably give you the gameplay aspects of not being just a police officer, and you get to all the fun stuff as well, like kicking bad guys' asses like you do in Lost Judgment, with awesome combat. This has got some really fun melee combat and different moves and stuff you can pull off. It's got that Yakuza flair, because obviously it's the offshoot from the Yakuza games. And I do love my man Yagami. He's the main character. Takayuki Yagami, otherwise just called Yagami throughout pretty much the whole game. But he's a very likable character. He solves some very good cases. The Lost Judgment main case in this one is a murder case, and it's very compelling and captivating. You find yourself undercover in a high school as well, and being chased by kids that think you're a pervert because you're setting up cameras around the school, and you get busted, and they think you're just a pervert setting up cameras, and there's a whole storyline based on that. And this chick who's a sleuth for the school, she ends up helping you out with your quest. So it's a really cool, fun storyline mixed with a nice sort of dark narrative as well, and just some really cool gameplay stuff. Obviously, if you know what Yakuza, you ever played Yakuza, this game is very similar. It's got a lot of mini games and all that random cool stuff where you're dancing and you're going to karaoke or skateboarding even. It's just crazy stuff in this game. Really cool game. Have you played any of the Judgment games, Troy?
I haven't ever, my entire life, played one Yakuza title. I didn't realise that mini games were so prevalent in it, and seeing the little DDR or whatever it was game code, that actually sparked my interest. I'm like, I might have to check this game out one day. I didn't know.
Mate,
like,
if
mini games
the narrative will hook you, and then the gameplay is just as good, and it's just so random. You can do so many different things in it that it just has you smiling from ear to ear occasionally with some of the random stuff you're doing.
Yeah, it's. I'm blown away just by this trailer. I think maybe Yakuza. Maybe I've been missing out for a while now looking at that trailer. I like it. And sorry, did we get his name? Yes, we did. All right.
Yeah.
So then that brings us to the second last, penultimate, Resident Evil 2 remake, Steve.
Okay, nice. We've got Leon Kennedy here. He wears a police uniform for pretty much the whole game. But Leon Kennedy, he pretty much joined, or was his first day on the force, I'm pretty sure, at Raccoon City Police Department when the zombie outbreak happened. So I'm not sure if he even qualifies as a police officer yet. He probably hasn't had all the... had all these boxes ticked yet to say he can perform the duties of a police officer, but he is one hell of a cop by the end of it if you count shooting zombies in the face as part of your training. So, no, he's definitely on that list. He does wear a police uniform the whole game, so we can't fault him there. A lot of these other games shouldn't be wearing a police uniform. So, he's got them up there, and as far as iconic game characters go, there's hard-pressed to find many better than Leon Kennedy.
Indeed. Strong outing. All right, and then finally this evening, we have number 9 is Rainbow Six Siege, Steve. How could we do a list of games where you get to play as a police officer and not do Rainbow Six? What a franchise that is. I'm a huge Rainbow Six fan. But I don't know, Steve, did you ever play it? And there's not much single-player narrative.
No, so that's for me. Like, I never really got into this. I know how good it is. I know how much people speak about how good this game is. And for whatever reason, it's one of those games. If I had a really good group of people that we could play with consistently, I might find some fun in it. But for me, I don't have the time to get good at it, as well as all the other games I play. Because if I jump into a multiplayer game and I'm getting killed all the time, I'm not having fun, and then I'm going to bounce. And it's the same thing that happened with what we played, Apex Legends. Like, I know that game is good. I know how much people like it, but I'm just not going to find the time to get good at it to make sure I'm having fun in that game. So similar for me for Rainbow Six, but I do understand how good this game is.
Fair enough. Yes, I'm a big fan of this game. However, now that I realise how little single-player police narrative there is, it falls from my number one spot. But it makes me ask you, Steve, which is in your number one spot currently, mate? Who's your winner for this week's standoff?
Mate, if we're looking at the category, which is the best game where you play as a police officer, I cannot look past L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire. Was that number 3, I think?
Yeah, 4.
Oh, my goodness. We've just fallen into an autoplay of ourselves. I don't know what happens when we disappear up our own tails, no? Oh, wow, you're just going to have to believe us. I can't even find the tab. I'm going to go back to the standoff graphic because this laptop just went a little bit cuckoo. So I can't bring the graphics back up. But sorry, Steve, you were going for, was it L.A. Noire, mate?
I'm going L.A. Noire for best police officer, best game where you play as a police officer, with a close second being Lego City Undercover.
I'm right there with you, mate. The only game on that list that I have the platinum in is L.A. Noire. So, indeed, that gets there. But a big shout out to, I don't know if you want to go through the list, Steve. We probably don't have time. But the number of police officer names available in Rainbow Six Siege is a winner in itself.
Hey, I'm going to go through them real quick. Okay.
Go, mate, go. Yep.
We've got Recruit, Sledge, Thatcher, Ash, Thermite, Twitch, Montagna, Glaze, Fuse, Blitz, IQ, Buck, Blackbeard, Capiteo, Cabana, Jackal, Ying, Sophia, Jokabai, Lion, Finker, Maverick, that's my favourite, Nomad, Gridlock, Knock, Amaru, Kali, Iana, Ace, Zero, Flores, Osa, Sens, Smoke, Mute, Castle, Pulse, Doc, Rook, Capkin, Tachikaka, Jaeger, Bandit, Frost, Valkyrie, Kavera, Echo, Mira, Legion, Ella, Vigil, Alibi, Maestro, Clash, Cade, Mozzie, Warden, Gaio, Whammy, Oryx, Malusi, Aruni, Thunderbird, Thorn, and Azami, Troy. That is a lot of characters.
You win, Steve, and that is why Sony are now making all live service games, because look how much money they make. What do they make, like 20 bucks? 2 operators, I think, is 20 bucks. So have a look at them. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
God, but all those names, Troy, do not mount up to the best name on this list, which is the bonus round, Troy. Which name are we going for the best name of a police officer in a video game out of our current list?
There is no way I can go past Max Payne.
Oh, that's a pretty good name, isn't it?
A police officer named Max Payne? Come on.
Yeah, we might have to give it to him. I'm just looking through here. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's be honest. It's either that or Chase McKay.
Max Payne has it for my money for the side pot in the standoff this evening. Now, with the standoff concluded and L.A. Noire / Rockstar Games, the winner is you this week. You have fought and you have won the best police officer game in our opinion. Steve, that brings us through to segment the 4th, which is the audience interrogation. I'm struggling to find my button, sir, but what can you tell me? What is happening in that YouTube chat, mate?
Mate, I've not much happening in the chat there at all. I'm not sure what's going on with my phone, but there's not a whole bunch. I know Sean's been there and he said g'day, so g'day, Sean.
Sean, welcome. Hello, sir. Good to have you in there. Thank you very much for moderating, mate. I appreciate it. I don't even have any Discord questions. Sorry, Steve. Go, mate.
I believe we had a question from a bully for tonight in relation to what our favourite peripheral has been in gaming.
Yes. We have, Steve. Do you want to go first?
Yep. Well, actually, no, I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, I was going to use you saying yours, so I had time to grab a prop.
Oh, okay. No worries. I will go with mine then. So Bully seems to think mine was going to be a Guitar Hero guitar or a Guitar Hero or Rock Band microphone, because while I'm holding it, I get a chance to flex my arms. He's not far wrong, but that's the incorrect answer, Bully. The correct answer for favourite peripheral for me is actually the Sony PlayStation 3D Pulse headset now, Troy.
Oh, great. And I got to I got to say mine is the PSVR, the original one. Obviously, number 2 is a lot discussed tonight, and I look forward to having a better second one. But currently, the best gaming peripheral I've got is definitely a VR headset, and I would argue you need either Beat Saber with it, probably. But best bit of gaming news for me is definitely the old VR headset. Big fan.
Nice. And I believe Bullies, if my memory serves, was the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller.
Oh, yes. He loves that chainsaw controller from GameCube, I want to say.
Yeah, it was the GameCube, yep.
Indeed. But that's going to do it for this week. Steve, thank you very much, sir, for participating. I appreciate it. Good effort, mate. And I love the stand-off tonight. Top effort there.
Thanks, mate. My pleasure. I'm going off duty here so I can go on duty at my real job.
Perfect work, mate. I love it. And that's going to do it for me, but I need to find my little end button. Where is it? Oh, look, it's right there. That will do it for this evening, guys. Thank you very much for watching. There's obviously a bunch of Let's Installs. I'm still getting up one a day, every weekday of a Let's Install. So if you haven't been keeping your eye on the channel, come back and check it out. There's a bunch more videos there. And, of course, we have live Let's Plays Wednesday, Friday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on Geek Aloud. And, keep your eye out for those Let's Plays. What else can you do with Geek Aloud, Steve?
You can like it, subscribe it, and you'll never...
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something. I love everything about it. Ooh.
Fire splash!
Old Uncle Donkey.
Donkey.